actually filmed that intro bit a few weeks ago. I just didn't really have anything to talk about. Uh, I was just really excited about this mic. I had nothing prepared, but now I do. For a while now, I've been going through this whole existential crisis. For a while now, I've had this whole existential crisis going on, specifically with, death, mortality, and all that fun stuff. Yeah? Don't get it confused. I'm completely aware of it. I acknowledge it. I accept it. But I'm completely freaked the out by it. Let me backtrack, I guess. A day before I deployed in 2018, I recorded a video, wherever I put it, where I talk about death. And I just rant about my feelings towards death, because at this point in my life, I have to be completely comfortable with the possibility of me dying while overseas, or people that I know dying. And in retrospect, it's crazy how much I actually accepted and welcomed it. Like, I was almost sure of it, right? So in that video, I tell a story about my grandmother who passed and I was present for, and how beautiful that moment kind of was, but also acknowledging how ugly death can be and being ready to confront that. Fast forward 10 months or so later, December of 2018, I come back home. And with that, I have this anxiety. I'm quicker to anger, I'm depressed as all hell, and a little more rough around the edges. But for the most part, I'm still me, A few months go by, I get a job that I still work at to this day, and it's fine, but it's nowhere near fulfilling. I don't go to school. I eventually start going back to church. I do some traveling, Iceland. But just like that, a whole year goes by. Just working this simple 9 to 5-ish kind of job. 2020 comes along. I get a girlfriend. I do some more traveling, Iceland again. I'm just enjoying myself before I get ready to go back to school finally, and COVID. Little did we know what was to come, right? By the time summer starts, I've started online schooling. Not exactly sure what to study, but just to get myself back in that routine of doing classes and stuff. Then August comes around, and I find out my grandfather is in the hospital with COVID. My dad's been talking to him every day, and he's fine. Just, a little trouble breathing. And not even a week later, I come home from work one day to find out that he's been put on a ventilator and shortly later passed away. And it hurts. It sucks. Wasn't expected. My brother, my mom, and we cry in my room, and I can specifically remembering Mia, my dog, licking tears off of my face. The next day, we attend his viewing via Zoom call. My brother and I then road trip from Florida to Pennsylvania to see our dad. He couldn't take the trip to PR to see his mom and the rest of his family because the odds of him getting corona are much more likely. So we go to him, and we spend a week together. It was nice. But since being back from that deployment, this fear of death had been slowly growing. Then after my grandfather passed, it started festering to the point where I couldn't really... I don't I don't even know how to really describe it. Almost every night when I would be getting ready to go to sleep, like just before I'm like finally gonna hit that like knockout moment, I would end up having some sort of panic attack because my train of thought as I was literally falling asleep would end up on, you might not wake up. And it would shoot me out of bed. And I would get genuinely freaked out. Back in November, I went to Tennessee and stayed in a cabin with my girlfriend. It was much needed, a time for us to get away from home, from work, responsibility, to just relax. We went on hikes, we did a moonshine and wine tour, we drank, we laughed, we ate, we adventured all around. But just days before the trip, I gave myself a goal, and I even recorded a video of myself talking about it. It's mainly just ramblings like this one, thoughts that weren't even fully processed or fully thought out. But I guess the main thesis of that, if that's what you even want to call it, was existence. Do you ever acknowledge your existence? Lately, I've been having a lot of death anxiety. And by lately, I mean probably this past year. I've been making it a point to just stop and acknowledge my existence. To genuinely think about it. Like, I am a human being. I am breathing air. I am on the planet Earth. Like, just going through that whole, I guess, cycle of acknowledging that I live and I will one day die, and to like be present in that moment. And then it gets you thinking, like, what are you doing to genuinely soak in that moment? What are you doing with your life so you can look back on it and be satisfied? Is there such thing as satisfied? What length will you go for your own happiness? The point of it all, I guess. Are you grateful? If you're not, what steps can you take to be grateful? To just live in your situation, as hard or as easy as it may be, through the lows and the highs. You get it once here on Earth, so make the most of it. And just acknowledge it. I think once you put that into perspective, at least for me, putting it into perspective, it's really been good for my outlook and trying to be positive and overcoming those anxieties of the inevitable. Anyways, that's basically all that I have to say. It's been on my mind, on my chest lately. Just had to get it out there, share it with y'all, see what y'all think. What do y'all do? What's your advice? Lately I've been thinking, I've been reminiscing. I used to always wish that things were just different, but I'm grateful that it isn't. I'm grateful where I am, grateful for your grace, and I'm following your plan. Grateful.